Agnes was born in the eastern region of Democratic Republic of Congo, a beautiful land of green hills and villages. Her early years were happy ones, even if life was hard. She was surrounded by her family and relatives, but her childhood was also overshadowed by conflict and fear. Unknown to Agnes, violence once again began to spread through South Kivu. The sounds of war in the distance became part of their everyday life. Distant gunfire echoed through villages. People whispered in fear. Families slept always ready to flee, uncertain of what the next day would bring. Then one day, the unthinkable happened. Run, Agnes! Hide in the jungle. The soldiers are coming, her mother shouted. Agnes ran to the trees behind the village and hid there out of sight. She could hear the sounds of men shouting and arguing. A woman began to cry loudly. Then suddenly there were loud popping sounds. For a long time, everything was still. When Agnes found the courage to step out from her hiding place, she discovered the unthinkable. Everyone who had remained in the village, including her parents, had been killed. Agnes found herself completely alone with no idea where to turn. And so frightened and exhausted, she walked into the jungle, praying that somehow she might find someone who could help her. That night, she slept alone beneath a tree. Insects buzzed in the darkness. Somewhere in the distance, she could still hear faint gunfire echoing through the night. Hungry, cold, and afraid, Agnes curled herself tightly together and tried to sleep. The next morning, she continued walking along narrow jungle paths, not knowing where they would lead. Eventually, after hours of walking, Agnes came across a small group of people traveling secretly through the jungle. The strangers gave her food and water, and as they listened to her story, their faces filled with sadness. They could not leave her behind. The group were fleeing towards Uganda, away from the fighting and chaos, and they invited Agnes to travel with them. They moved quietly through forests and hidden paths, careful to avoid areas where fighting was still taking place. After an exhausting journey, they arrived at the border of Uganda. At first, when Agnes saw soldiers at the border post, she wanted to run back into the jungle, but her companions managed to persuade her that it was okay. The guns are to keep us safe from the bad men. One of the women told her, "Don't be afraid of them. They will help us." When they crossed the border, Agnes was separated from those she had traveled with. After what seemed a very long time sitting and listening to the border officials speaking in strange languages, she was taken to a bus and told that someone would meet her at the other end of the journey. Agnes had never been on a bus before, but the seat was soft, and before long the rocking of the bus had sent her fast asleep. When she awoke, she had arrived at Nakivale Refugee Settlement. For Agnes, it was the end of one journey, but the beginning of another. In the middle of grief, uncertainty, and loss, her story began to change. When the staff from Bethel Active Youth Ministry, life support partner in Uganda, heard about Agnes and her situation, they offered to give her a place to live in one of the Eden children's village homes. Agnes was welcomed by the other children in the home and began to attend Champions Academy, a life support funded school. It was a long time before Agnes could truly feel safe. Today she is healthy, cared for, and beginning to smile again. Although she still carries the pain of losing her parents so young, her life is no longer defined only by the tragedy. As Agnes grows, she will have to process the pain and trauma she had been through. And that will not be an easy task, but she will do it alongside others who have walked similar paths and with a community around her who love her. Children like Agnes have walked through unimaginable darkness, but because people choose to care, these stories do not end there. Thank you for supporting life, support, and helping Agnes.